started.
Powder Man. All right. So d4. Let's see. I should play knight f6. I've been playing d5 recently. And how about haven't played a King's Indian in a long time. So let's go for that and see what his line is against the King's Indian. Okay, this is the Saemisch variation, or the 3.5 pawns attack. This is a 4 pawns attack if you play all the way to f4, but this is 3.5 pawns. So what's the move here? Maybe knight here. I don't really know this line at all, but I'm thinking playing f5, c5 with knight c7. Probably the move there was castles. I think castles, bishop here, and then c5 is a gambit that's okay for black. But it's maybe a bit different here. Well, the knight on the knight on a6 supports the pawn, so it's not a gambit. You could still take knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen, and then I would lose my castling privileges. But I don't I don't think that's a way of playing that gives white a whole lot to play for. And I'm probably going to castle on my next move, so I have the option to retake with the rook. It's always better to be able to retake with the rook. So do I want to castle now? I mean, I don't have to. He's sealed the queen side off. But I probably need to castle. Knight c7 to e8 maybe is an idea. And he can trade off the bishop. f6 immediately. e6 rather, e6. The idea of taking back. Knight to b5. b4. Knight to b4 is an idea maybe. Kicks it. And he's got nowhere to go after it's kicked. So knight c7. I think I want to retrieve that knight from the wilderness before it gets stuck out there away from the action. And maybe pawn to a6 so that the knight doesn't hop into b5. He's attacking. He's going to do a pawn storm here, huh? If I play h5 and he plays g4, I take, he takes, I take with the knight or the bishop. I guess that is okay for me. So it's interesting. He's kept his king in the center. Maybe he's planning to castle queenside. And there the bishop goes. Okay. So a6, is that too slow? Still want to keep the knight out of there. And then f6. The knight on the knight on b5 would undermine or attack on d6, which is going to be weak after I play e6. But I need to play something to kind of undermine the center here. Can't allow white to have that center unchallenged. And this bishop has nowhere to go. See, look at all those pawns on light squares. Okay, so now he's going to force some kind of exchange, perhaps. Bishop takes, king takes is what I'm planning. And if he doesn't take on e6, I'm going to take on d5. I'll get some kind of open line. If he takes with the c pawn, then I'll have b4 or b5 as an idea. If he takes with the knight, I'm going to take the knight. I've got 2 pieces on that square. So he takes with the e-pawn. It's an interesting choice. So I'm going to immediately put a rook on the e-file. It just seems like the logical thing to do. My bishop potentially has a square on f5, but right now it would be traded off. So I still haven't really solved my bishop problem. So I think I need to play... Well, one thing to consider is whether I can just play b4 immediately. Pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, and then bishop to f5. It's a pawn sack, but I get a bishop on a good diagonal. But then he brings the bishop back right away. So b5, pawn takes, knight takes, bishop takes, maybe rook. Rook here, I can just defend. Okay, let's move the bishop first. Let's not make it a pawn sack. We'll just try and play for b5 directly. I don't see actually that he's got an immediate attack on my pieces here yet. On my king side. We'll see. Could happen. Oh, the other idea, maybe I could have played b5 because the rook on the a file would potentially take the pawn on a2. So it wouldn't be a sacrifice so much as a trade. Okay, so now I'm going to take that. Pawn takes, bishop takes. It skewers this. Well, it's not a skewer. It's pinning the knight. Knight's well defended there. Just I'm thinking that will slow down his attack. Ah, but he doesn't take back. He brings the queen in. Interesting way to play, of course. So I don't like the queen there. Let's see if I can dislodge it in some way. Maybe rook. Yeah, rook to e4, e5, rook e5. Where's the queen going? Back. Yeah, so with the queen there, I could play knight to h5 and kick the queen again. Can't take my pawn because the bishop is on it. Although eventually he can take. Potentially he could take my g-pawn there with his pawn. So maybe after the queen moves, I play g3. That's the idea. Let's have bishop here. Pawn takes. And I should play, I think I'll play g3. Rather than open up more lines onto my king by taking. And I don't want to allow him to take and chase my knight away. I've got a knight there sort of holding my position together at the moment. And maybe I still want to get back to this b4 idea here. I haven't given up on that. b5, rather. Okay, so he goes there. He's hitting my rook. I can attack his rook. His rook moves, but that didn't help. I could sack the exchange here by taking the knight. All I could sack the exchange this way. So if he takes, I'll take back with the bishop and get this strong bishop on this diagonal here. And if he doesn't take, I'm going to play. I'm going to play it anyway. B5. So I think I got a pretty solid position over here. Okay, so he's just going to gobble up this pawn. Let's push on with b5. So I just need to get a couple more pieces operating in concert with the bishop here, maybe a rook and a queen. Going against his king there. So he's going to ignore that. He's going to ignore that. So if he takes the knight, I think I will take the knight. And I'm also going to ignore that, right? Because if he takes, I'll take back with the pawn. Bishop may be a bit loose. Okay, I'm going to bring the queen over here. And if he pushes ahead, so if he takes, I take with the pawn. If he pushes ahead, I'm just going to play king to h7 and blockade it. So h6, king h7, or this way. And now I can bring a rook over here and neutralize the other rook. Rook h8 is a possibility. Queen there. Okay, now that's not so great. Where can I go? Let's think about this. Just need a square here for my queen. But it looks like actually he's got a lot of these things covered. So if the queen were out of the way, like on E or d4 there, queen d4, he plays queen h7 check. And I move my king to f6. He's got a queen check there, queen check there. Okay, if I just move back, what does he do? Queen h7 check, I'm just planning queen f7. If he gives me time, I can play rook g8 to g7, keep enemy forces away from my king. And let's count the pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4 against 3. Yeah, so I'm a pawn up, and he's up the exchange. So pawn for the exchange is usually not too bad. Can be winning if you've got the right combination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, pawn for the exchange. Right, so the queen went there. Now, can the queen penetrate anywhere? Not really. So let's, this knight is kind of useless over here. Let's maneuver the knight to a better square. Knight to f6 would cover h7. And does he have any sacrificial ideas? Rook takes here. Bishop takes. His idea is to go there. So he can coordinate on this square e7, but I can block with the knight. Then I can bring a rook over, maybe get rid of one pair of rooks. I can still bring a rook over, right? Rook takes, knight takes, rook takes, king takes. No, I can't do that because rook over, rook takes, knight takes, and then queen here check is pretty bad. But what am I going to do? Bishop here is not going to work. Rook here is not going to work because of rook check. So he's threatening immediately rook check. And I can't blockade on this square because his knight's covering it. That's too bad. Okay, so maybe I have to play this. Rook here, rook takes, knight takes. And he's got rook here winning the queen. So that's just no good. So my other try would be king here. Well, there's knight there. Knight to g1. Funny looking move. Knight to g1. Covers this square though. Knight to g1 and maybe queen to f3. Oh, queen f3 has got queen h7 check. Queen f6 rather. Queen f6, queen h7 check, queen back to g7. Rook here. I just take it. Well, that's maybe not too bad if I just take it actually. So he can take this pawn with check. So I need to take that guy off. Okay, so queen here, queen f6. He can still put something on. Yeah, that's probably a good enough way to win. How about rook to rook to h7? Oh, I'm almost out of time. Okay, well, I guess I have to move instantly here. We had a tricky position to move instantly in. Oh, man. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I have very few moves, so makes it easy, I guess. Knight f3. Yeah, knight f3. Knight f6, I mean.
Checkmate.
Okay, well, at least I got it over with. That was an interesting game. I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later.